Have you ever wondered why some people seem to live longer, healthier lives? And it has very little to do with their genes or how often they go to the gym. Today, we're diving into a surprising, powerful factor that actually predicts how long you'll live: your social connections. Stick around. By the end of this video, I'll reveal a single research-backed habit you can start this week that actually moves the needle on longevity. You won't expect it. I'll also share a jaw-dropping comparison that ranks social disconnection alongside smoking, and why that comparison matters more than you think. Let's start with the headline number. Across hundreds of studies, people with strong social relationships have a roughly 50% greater chance of survival over follow-up periods than people with weaker ties. That estimate comes from a major meta-analysis that pooled data from over 300,000 people and found the effect was consistent across age, sex, and health status. Half again as likely to survive, that's huge. Later, I'll unpack why that effect is so big, and why it's not just about having friends, but about how relationships function in our lives. Public health leaders now call loneliness a serious health risk. The U.S. Surgeon General and Federal Advisory reports state that the health impact of being socially disconnected is comparable to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day, and it's linked to higher risk of heart disease, stroke, depression, and premature death. That comparison helps us grasp scale. Social disconnection isn't just sad, it's physiologically harmful. Recent studies also link chronic loneliness to major health events. One large analysis showed people aged 50 plus who experienced ongoing loneliness had substantially higher risks of stroke and cardiovascular decline over time. In short, loneliness can translate into real, measurable medical risk. I'll explain in a moment which kind of loneliness, short-term or chronic, is most dangerous and why that distinction changes what we should do. Connections don't just affect the heart, they affect the brain. Multiple cohort studies and meta-analyses link loneliness and social isolation with higher risk of cognitive decline and dementia. Some pooled analyses estimate that prolonged loneliness is associated with roughly 30 to 60% higher risk of developing dementia later in life, depending on age and other factors. That means social life isn't only about mood. It's a factor in preserving memory and thinking skills as we age. Later, I'll give a practical 60-second exercise you can do to boost the kind of social engagement that helps your brain, not just your mood. What's the mechanism? 3 big pathways stand out: stress regulation, inflammation, and health behaviors. People who are lonely or isolated show higher markers of systemic inflammation, like interleukin-6 and CRP, altered immune responses, and more prolonged stress hormone activation, all of which accelerate disease processes. Researchers have repeatedly found links between social disconnection and inflammatory markers that matter for heart disease and metabolic health. On the behavioral side, socially connected people are more likely to keep medical appointments, sleep better, exercise, and avoid risky behaviors. So relationships protect both biologically and practically. I'll give you a micro practice to lower your stress response in social settings. It takes less than 2 minutes and has a measurable physiological effect. Not all connections are equal. The literature distinguishes social isolation, objective lack of contacts, from loneliness, subjective feeling of being disconnected. The perception of connection, feeling supported and understood, often predicts health better than raw friend counts. Deep, reliable ties, family, committed friends, and a sense of belonging to a group consistently show the strongest benefits. Living alone can increase risk, but feeling connected while living alone can mitigate that risk. I'll show you a quick journaling prompt to check whether your relationships are quality connections or just background noise. If social connection is this important, how do we improve it? Intervention studies fall into 4 broad strategies: training social skills, increasing opportunities for contact, clubs, volunteering, enhancing perceived support, therapy, peer groups, and cognitive approaches that change how people interpret social cues. Reviews show mixed but promising results. Many programs produce small to moderate improvements in loneliness and well-being, especially when they're tailored and long-term. Combining practical actions, join a group with mindset work, therapy or CBT for social anxiety, tends to work best. Here are concrete moves you can start today. Schedule regular face-to-face contact, even 30 minutes twice a week. Join one interest-based group, book club, walking group, volunteer team. Deepen one relationship. Ask an open question, listen, follow up. Limit passive social media and replace one scroll session with one intentional message. Consider short therapy or group programs if social anxiety or past trauma blocks connection. Pick one of these steps and try it this week, and later in the video, I'll ask you which one you chose and why that choice matters more than you think. Social connections are not fluff. They're a major public health factor. Strong ties are linked to approximately 50% better survival. Loneliness has risks comparable to heavy smoking. It raises risk for stroke and dementia, and it affects the body via inflammation and stress. The good news: small intentional steps can shift your social health, and over time your physical health too. Micro challenge, 1 week. Pick one of the 5 practical moves I listed. Do it consciously for 1 week. Journal one line each day about how it felt and how your sleep, mood, or energy changed. Come back and tell me which step you chose in the comments. I'll read a few and pin the most insightful ones. In the video description, there's a 60-second script you can use to open a deeper conversation with someone you care about. Use it this week and tell me what happened. Small talk becomes big results when it's intentional.